If you're over 30 and feel behind, there's one reason your progress keeps stalling, and it has nothing to do with your effort. See, most people never find out what it is because it's hiding inside the one thing that you're most convinced you're already doing right. So here's what I see happen all the time. You're over 30 and you want to make the greatest comeback of your life, right? That's the purpose of this video. You're motivated, you're hungry, and you're already sacrificing a lot to carve out your own path in life. But this is the thing, this is the kicker. Your income is still inconsistent. It's just not where you want it to be. On top of that, your content isn't converting the way it should, the way you want it to. And that means the right clients are not coming the way you want them to, the way they should be. And you can't figure out why are these things happening. So you do what tends to feel the most logical for many of us, which is you blame the platforms, you start to question your niche, you keep changing your offer and tweaking it, and you start a new channel, right? If you're a YouTuber. Or in some cases, you will make a pivot completely into something different. And for many of us, this is a cycle that repeats itself over and over and over again. Not because you're not working hard enough. No, it's never that. You ain't got no problem with putting in that work. It's often because you've never identified what the real problem underneath is. And until you do that, it doesn't matter what changes you make to all of those things that I mentioned before. The same problem is just going to follow you to the next platform, to the next niche, to the next offer. So, what is the real problem? In most cases, it comes down to one of two things. Either you're not properly leveraging the skills and the knowledge that you already have, or you're not communicating the value of those skills in a way that makes your potential clients, your ideal audience, and the people you know who actually need what you offer, you're not communicating that value to them in a way that gets them to actually respond to you. And from the outside, those two problems may actually seem like they're identical. And that's actually one of the reasons why most people never tend to solve this problem. But if you're following me so far, I want to share something with you that most people don't think about. You ready? Let's dive into it. So, what most people don't realize is that the market and the people you serve, they don't evaluate you based on how hard you work. I know. I know if it was that simple, we would be good. All of us hard workers, everything would just fall into place if everything was just based on how hard we work. Or the other thing, how long we've been at it. Oh my goodness. If time put in automatically just resulted in the things that we want, it would be a game changer. You probably wouldn't be here watching this video. But this is the thing. When you realize that it's not about how hard you work, it's not about how much time you put in, you're not being evaluated based on that, you realize that those people that you want to work with, those people that you want to serve, they're going to make a very fast judgment about you and the services that you provide. And it's going to be based on what they see from you in that moment. That's the reason why all of the hard work you've been putting in or all of the time that you've been working at it is just not going to matter to them because they're focused on evaluating your content. They're evaluating your pitch. They're evaluating the way that you talk about what you do and who you do it for. But that's happening in the moment. See, potential customers, potential clients, and the people that you want to attract, they are just one video or one conversation away from investing in you. And they often make their decision really, really quickly. And sometimes it's before they even give you a chance. They're trying to decide when they're checking out your content, when they're learning about the services that you offer and they're listening to you, when they're on that call, having that conversation with you, they're trying to decide something very important, which is whether you are worth their time and their money. I know that's a hard pill to swallow for some people, but that's the real deal about it. They are literally every time you're talking to a potential customer or client, or you're putting out a piece of content or you're putting a new offer out there, let this resonate. That's the reason why I'm repeating it. They're in that moment trying to decide whether you are worth their time and their money. Again, this is not going to be based on how hard you worked or how long you've been at it. It's going to be based on what they can actually see and in some cases what they feel in that moment when they're interacting with you or your content. So when you don't show up correctly, when you don't deliver, they're going to move on every single time. And that's what's actually blocking you from having that great comeback that you deserve. Now, let's dive a little bit deeper into these two things. I hope this is resonating. I hope it's clicking because we about to take a deep dive. You ready? Let's do this. So, number one is you're not leveraging the skills that you already had, right? I talked about that earlier. Now we're going to get into it. This means that you've spent years, and in some cases, it may even be decades, developing valuable skills that have produced real results in real life, in your life, in the lives of people around you, even maybe even some of your past clients. But this is the thing, you're not building your business around those skills yet. It really blows my mind, like first and foremost with myself, but then even customers and clients and people that I've talked to, how often we do not leverage the skills that we have put years in developing. And it really blows my mind because a lot of people tend to diminish the value that those skills have. And especially when it comes to, developing skills, whether it was on a job or something that doesn't seem like it properly aligns with what they want to do, you'd be surprised. So, getting back to my main point, right, which is the fact that, you have these skills, but you're not leveraging them when it comes to the business that you're growing right now. So, that means that in most cases, the reason that you're not getting the results that you want has nothing to do with laziness. It has nothing to do with you lacking ambition. It's just because you don't believe that the skills that you currently have are something that people will pay you for. I have definitely been there before. So instead of leveraging the skills that you already have, you go looking for something else. You go trying to find something else that can be that breakthrough and provide you with those results that you want. You find something that you think is more legitimate, something that will be more profitable, more like what you think success is supposed to look like. And that search is exactly what's keeping you stuck in that cycle of pivoting, rebuilding, and starting over and over again. While the most valuable skills that you have are not being used effectively. Think about that. I hope this seed is being planted, right? Because the skills were never, ever the problem. It's the belief that you have around those skills. Let's be real. There are people right now who need exactly what you know, who need exactly what you offer or can offer if you're not already offering it. People who would seriously invest in your experience, your knowledge, your perspective, if you knew how to position it and package it in a way that makes it clear how it's going to be valuable to them, right? That's the most important thing, valuable to them. So the question isn't whether your skills are valuable or whether you have skills that can make you money. You do. The real question is whether you have learned how to communicate and demonstrate your value in a way that's going to make the right people, your ideal audience or customers or clients, take notice and be willing to pay you for your skill set. Now, that was just number one. Now, let's take a deeper dive into that second thing that I talked about, right? Number two, to remind you, is that even when you are, so before we talked about the people, maybe number one didn't apply. Maybe you are leveraging your skills and you're just not getting the results, right? Now, let's talk about the people who are leveraging their skills, right? Not the people who haven't done that yet. So you're leveraging your skills, but your message isn't landing. That's the second problem. Number two is when you actually are leveraging your skill set, but it's not producing you the results that you want. And that's because your message isn't landing with them the right way. This is where most people's comeback. They're trying. They're in their 30s. They're putting in that work. They're putting in that time that we talk about, but they're not getting the results. It stalls because of this. See, you're creating content, you're showing up, you're putting in the reps, but someone, when they land on your channel, when they listen to your pitch, when they get on a call with you and they can't immediately understand what you do, who it's for, why it matters to them specifically. Again, I gotta emphasize that part because so many times we create content or we create offers and it appeals to us and we miss the point that it needs to appeal to the people you're trying to attract, the people that you want to move, that you want to work with. So when you're not able to communicate that, they move on. They're going somewhere else. Not because, again, you aren't skilled, not because your work isn't good, not because, you know, they don't like you even, but it's because you were not able to present your message in a way that was clear enough for them to see the benefit to them and then act on it. It really just boils down to that. So in a world where attention, as you know, it is gone in seconds, unclear communication or the ability or the inability really to express your value to the people that you want to work with, it is one of the most expensive problems that you can have. So the greatest comeback of your life is not going to require you to start over at all. So that should be good news, right? You don't have to start over to make this great comeback. You know, it's not even going to require, if I'm being honest with you, you don't even necessarily have to change your platform. You don't have to go find a new niche. You don't have to build a new offer. The main thing that you just need to put your time, attention, and focus on is fixing how you show up, right? You got to fix how you show up. And the way you do that is by learning to take your experience, your knowledge, and the results that you already have, and then translate them into something that your audience, your potential clients, and the people that need, again, what you offer, in a way that they can feel it. Like the moment they come across your content, they can just feel like, yo, you are the person that I've been looking for. You are the one that I know can solve this problem and help me with this, and take them to the next level, or whatever it is that you're offering. They realize that you're the person that can do it for them. That, even though it may seem like it, right? Like, it doesn't require you to reinvent yourself at all. What it's going to require is for you to just simply show up and communicate your value in a way that's going to make the right people stop and pay attention to you. So if you've been putting in the work and you've been wondering why hasn't it been paying off the way that it should, this is what you've needed to know so that you can make that greatest comeback of your life. Now you know what's been standing between you and the comeback that you want. Now, let's be honest. The people who act on this, they are the ones who are going to win. The ones who don't, they're going to just stay stuck in that same old cycle. So if you don't want to stay stuck in that same old cycle, I want to encourage you to go watch a video that I did called "You're Not Bad at Communicating. Fix this one thing and never be misunderstood again." Go check that video out next, and I'll see you there. Until next time, I'm Jay. Stay blessed.